Hello everyone, I'm teacher Winnie. Today we'll discuss on Physics SPM Trial 2022 Terengganu Paper 1. So first question is under measurement regarding this physical quantity. So which of the following is correct? So giving you the first column is related to derived quantity and the second column is in terms of base quantity. So first you need to know what is this base quantity. So base quantity is basically the most basic quantity where they cannot derive into another form. So generally there are altogether 7 base quantity. Well, what is derived quantity? Derived quantity is quantity which after you have this mathematical operation like multiplications, divisions, you multiply or divide or both operation for both 2 or more base quantity, then you have another new quantity. Okay, so to know which option A, B, C, or D is correct, firstly, you need to know what is the quantity itself. Also, density is what? You all need to recall back. Like density is actually mass per unit volume. Then what is acceleration? Rate of change of velocity. Momentum is product of mass and velocity, and area is basically this length time length. Yeah. So if you look at the choice, this one, length time length supposed to be L squared. So that means this is wrong. Then for momentum, mass is base quantity, but velocity is not base quantity yet. So velocity is come from what? So velocity is basically displacement over time. The equation displacement per unit time. So in this context, displacement is the idea of length. This is time. So that means you must change it to become M, then L over T, where mass, length, time, they are all together become what? They become the base. So if you notice, yes, this is exactly the same. Okay, but I also show for the density and acceleration in terms of base quantity as well. So like density is mass per unit volume. So don't confuse this capital V with small v. So this mass, nothing changed, but volume is basically length time, length. So supposedly you get M over L cubed, but this is wrong again. Okay, and lastly, the rate of change of velocity here in simple means velocity. So you will basically have what? L over T divided by T. When you have this, that means is another idea means multiply 1 over T, same meaning. So by right, you're supposed to get what? L over T squared. So they do not have the square here. So it's not belong to the derived quantity. Yeah. So the answer is C for the first questions. Question 2. The diagram shows a cutting of ticker tape produced by the motion of a trolley. What type of motions of the trolley? Okay, to understand the motion of the trolley, first, you need to know where we actually pull this ticker tape. So the direction of motion is basically also the direction, the initial position. I always tell students, imagine this is your ticker tape, ticker timer, then my pen is the ticker tape, imagine. So you see when this ticker timer is moving. So you see I pull my paper. So the point that I holding the pen, right, is actually the initial point. Notice or not? But the paper seem move to the left. Notice or not? Yeah, so the arrowhead also indicate where is the starting point. Yeah, so I will locate this as a initial velocity. Then this is final. This is starting point. Get it? But if the arrowhead is vice versa this way, that means I have to terbalik kan. That means this one will be initial, this one is final. Okay, so now first step, you already clear where is starting point, where is ending point. Then next, you look at the gap. So generally, the time for each ticks is already constant, right? They always use what? 0.02 second. But you see the space is getting bigger. That means the length is changes, agree? Yeah, so if the length is getting bigger, that means your displacement 2 is greater than displacement 1. Or I always tell students, you can just imagine this idea. More simple one is when you walk that time, smaller step is faster or bigger step is faster. Confirm bigger step is faster. So that means you see the gap is getting bigger, right? That means you are getting faster. When you're getting faster, means you are accelerating. So that's why for this answer, it will be B. Okay, if it uniform velocity, that means the gap is same. Then uniform velocity. Deceleration is like I say, y versa. Let's say the question now, they put the arrowhead in this way. So your gap is getting smaller than deceleration. Okay, if stationary, then the dot is keep on the same point. So you won't produce any dot on the thicker tip as well. Number 3, how is the condition of a heavy trolley to start its motion and to stop its motion? So in these questions, the keywords here is conditions of a heavy trolley. Okay, and we actually relate this idea to inertia. So the relationship between inertia and mass, they are directly proportional. That means objects which have a greater mass, they have the tendency to remain of its state of rest, or if move, they will move in a constant pace, right? Or constant speed. So if the object is heavier, it basically very hard to move, difficult to move. At the same time, if you want to stop an object which are moving, right? So you imagine a heavy ball will start to move, right? So when they're actually in the state of moving, they have the tendency to keep on moving one. If you want to stop that ball that are heavy, is it easy or difficult? It will be difficult as well, right? Yeah. So therefore, your answer will be A. Number 4, which of the following is the unit of momentum? So what is momentum? Momentum is the product of mass and velocity. Right? So from here, what is the unit for mass? Kilogram. And then what is the unit for velocity? Meter per second. Okay, so among the option, the answer will be B. Number 5, diagram shows a table tennis player ready to hit a ball. Okay, the diagram not so clear, but just for your understanding, this is that, and then this is the ball. So when does impulsive force produce? Okay, so you want to have the impulsive force. Okay, again, what is impulsive force? Impulsive force is actually rate of change of momentum. So we always relate the idea of impulsive force with a small time of impact. Yeah, when the time is short, then the force acting is great. Okay, so this time of impact is the moment when you hit the ball. When you touch the ball, then only this force is being produced. Okay, so is it A, racket swing at high velocity? The racket is swing backwards. The racket hit the ping pong ball. So this is the idea, and the racket is gripped strongly. Okay, is also not the option. Number 6, Ilfan's weight on Earth is 800 Newton. What will happen to his weight on the surface of Moon? Okay, so this idea is under free fall, or still in Form 4, Chapter 2. Okay, so now weight will changes due to what? The gravitational field strength. Okay, so this is, imagine this is Earth. Okay, so when you are at the surface of Earth, or like astronaut, they are moving to other planets. So when you are getting away from the Earth, basically the force towards this Earth is getting weaker, or we say this gravitational field strength. G, they will become weaker when you are further weaker. Okay, since the idea of weight is equivalent to mg, so you see your g is become smaller, right? So that's why your weight supposedly decrease lah. Yeah, because on Moon, that's why this is how the astronaut, they all will actually like floating, yeah, on the planets. 7. The gravitational acceleration at Earth's surface is g, and the gravitational acceleration at the sky, same as the radius of Earth, is how much? Okay, but right, slight correction, the height. Okay, so this is idea on this gravitations already, chapter 3, 3.1. Okay, so to get the relationship, you need to know the formula for gravitational accelerations. Okay, so you're supposed to know the general formula for this gravitational acceleration is equals to gm over r squared. The g is gravitational constant, m is the mass of Earth, and then r is the radius of Earth. So they say, now what will happen to this value of g? Okay, when your r is changes, so they want the g, new g lah. So I assume this is g prime. Okay, so when this become g prime, g doesn't change, m doesn't change, but you have changed in the distance already, right? Okay, if you see the diagram, it's easier to capture this idea lah. So the first g is between where to where? Okay, here to here. Then the object is subjected with the radius of r, and you get g, right? So what if now your r have double, means the height is also r. So that's mean from here to here, you got 2 r, right? So g is how much again? So now, for general idea, you're supposed to have the idea when you're getting far, what happened? Your strength, your acceleration should be bigger or smaller? It by right smaller lah. So the possible answer, right, is supposed to be C or D. Understand or not? Let's say you all don't like maths and then cannot get the answer, but based on concept, yeah, so your choice like toward them, but is also higher, So this is become what? 2r. But remember, you need to bracket the whole thing and square it, right? Therefore, g prime is how much? Gm. Okay, after I square it, I actually get what? 4r squared. I actually can bring out the 4, then become 1 over 4, then become what? Gm over r squared. Okay, then you see, you already know the initial g is gm over r squared. So I just actually sub this into here. So it's actually 1 over 4g. So the answer will be D lah. Question 8. Satellite P is 5 times farther from a planet than satellite Q. And when the satellite P takes 20 weeks to complete a full orbit around the planet, how long will the satellite Q to travel around the planets once? So for this question now, they are under the idea of Kepler's law, and it is referred to Kepler's third law, where T square is actually directly proportional to R cube. And the equation that we're going to use, since they are using this P and Q, so we can have this relationship whereby what? TQ square over TP square equals to RQ cube over RP cube. So again, from the questions, we find out what is all these TP, all these first. Okay, first, they already say the relationship of the radius is what? The RP is basically 5 times of Q. Okay, then 20 weeks is for what? TP. It's 20 weeks. And then they want you to find the time, how long, means TQ. Yeah, so I actually have all these quantities. So then I just sub accordingly lah. So TQ is unknown. Then what is RQ? RQ, I will write back RQ. Then over RP. RP is also equivalent to 5RQ, so that I can cancel out the Q later on. Get the idea? But the whole thing, they are cube, they are cube. Now, I want to get TQ straight away, so that's why I bring, what means if you want to cancel TP square, that's mean you multiply both sides with TP square, right? So this is how the equation now look like. Okay, but I know my TP already, which is 20 weeks. So I also put inside 20, then square. Then you will do the maths part already lah. So you will cut off this RQ. Then it become 1/5 cube lah. 1/5 cube. Then time it 20 square. Okay, but then the whole thing have to square root of it if you want to have TQ at the end. So now you press a calculator lah. So supposedly you will get 3.2, then square root 1.79. So the answer is A. Number 9, what is the linear orbit, the speed of the moon revolve around Earth? Giving you the gravitational constant, the mass of Earth, and also distant moon from Earth. So again, you have to know what formula to be used. So this is under man-made satellite topic, right? And for your information, you basically will be given a formula list. Okay, it's just that the formula itself, they did not specifically tell you what is those quantity. Give you an example, like force, there is a lot of different formula. You have F equals to MA, F equals to G, then M1, M2 over R square, F equals to MV square over R. So it's like, oh, F like also the F equals to MV minus MU over T. So that's why you still need to really understand the topic particularly one by one. And then only you will know which formula is the correct formula to be used. Same go for V also. You have V equals to 2 pi R over T, V equals to GM over R square root of it, and so on, right? So that's why when you all refer the formula list, you still must have basic idea. Okay, what force am I finding? Like what speed am I finding? So it is linear speed. Linear speed is actually V over GM over R, or actually V equals to 2 pi R over T square also can. There is one more V we call it as escape velocity. Escape velocity will be 2 GM over R. So we are not using this lah. So just for your understanding, you cannot like, oh, I know that there will be a formula list, then I basically don't need to memorize the formula. Yes, but you need to know which is the correct formula to be used. So that's why you still need to know clearly which topic, and then what is all this symbol refer to. Okay, so like I mentioned already, since they give you G, they give you M, they also give you R. That means you are using this formula, V equals to GM over R. So before you sub in, always check is everything is SI unit kg, Newton meter square per kilogram per kilogram. Okay, so this is meter, so no problem. Indeed, everything is in SI unit. Then only you sub into this equation, V equals to G 6.7 times 10 power of negative 11. Then you have M 6 times 10 power of 24 bracket. Okay, divided by R 6.5 times 10 power of 6. Then the whole thing square root of it. Then next step is the way how you press your calculator. And I always advise students, let's say your calculator do not have the fraction form, like can sub everything exactly like this form one. You always solve what is on top, then what is below. Become a number first. Then only you sub into the calculator one more time. You do step by step slowly, right? It's okay, but then you will have less mistake, especially those of you who not really like to press calculator. So this is a better way lah by right. Okay. But you always do not face problem on pressing calculator, then it's still okay lah. You can use your way. So finally, you're supposed to get 7864.232 6 meters per second, but the option they like simplify a bit, they round off a bit. So that's why your answer will be B lah. So moving on, questions 10 under heat topic. Diagram A show two liquid M and N of equal mass which are being heated by an identical stove, and diagram B show the liquid after heated for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes. So now look at the specific heat capacity of both liquid. This one is bigger, correct? This is smaller. Okay, for your information, what is specific heat capacity? Specific capacity is the amount of heat needed to increase the temperature of 1 kg of substance by 1 degree Celsius. So you see what is the change in temperature? Initially, they have same final temperature for N is higher, correct? Final. So which means the change for liquid N is bigger. Okay, because with a small absorption of this heat, the heat that being supplied to this liquid, they can increase their temperature faster. Okay, so it means that when your specific heat capacity C is smaller, your change in temperature is bigger. So we see which is the correct relationship. The higher the temperature of substance, the higher the specific capacity. No, the higher the temperature of substance, the lower the specific. Now, this is higher temperature. It's not change in temperature. See the words here. Then the lower specific heat capacity, the lower the change. No, the lower the specific capacity, the higher the change. The word change in temperature is also important. So D is the better answer. Okay. 11. Diagram shows the heating curve of a liquid. Which statement explain what happens in section B, C? Okay, every time you see a cooling curve or heating curve, always label the part involved first. Are they solid, liquid, gas? Okay, so they say this is a liquid. Also, that means you start with the liquid state. Understand? So when you have liquid, then you have what? If they have, then it becomes gas. Also, this is the coexist between liquid and gas. So during this part, is there any change in temperature? They remain, right? Temperature, example, the temperature is theta. Also, they remain same temperature, you know. So that means there will be no change in temperature. How come there is no change in temperature? Because during this section BC, right, what happened is the heat being supplied is used to overcome the forces of attraction between the molecules or particles. So that's why there's no change in temperature. If there's no change in temperature, there is also no change in the kinetic energy. So this is some basic idea for you to know. And those heat that involve is actually called latent heat. And in this context, is specific latent heat of vaporization. Okay, so we see the option. Latent heat of fusion is released. No, they actually will absorb heat, not release heat. Okay, and then no heat is absorbed. Wrong. They basically absorb heat. Kinetic energy increase, also not correct. The liquid experience a change of phase from liquid to gas. Yes. So the answer will be D. Which graph show the correct relationship between pressure P and temperature T of gas with fixed mass of the volume, and the volume are constant? So again, this is under gas law idea. So I will tell students this is a very useful triangle. You have PV, then T, and the three sides respectively refer to a law. And the law is Guru Bahasa Cina, some sort. Okay, yeah. So G stand for what? Gay Lusak's law. and then B is Boyle's law, C is Charles' law. Okay, then since it's P and T, that means it is what law? It is Gay-Lussac law. So whether Gay-Lussac law or Charles' law, right? The relationship between the two quantity is basically directly proportional. That means pressure is directly proportional to absolute temperature. Absolute temperature is temperature in Kelvin state. So since they are directly proportional, so we check lah which graph is directly proportional. So the answer is B lah. Okay. So for your understanding also, if let's say the temperature is not the absolute temperature or Kelvin scale, right? Then it is in degrees Celsius, then this may be the answer also. Get the idea? Because sometimes the questions will give you the graph in terms of degrees Celsius or in terms of Kelvin. 13. Diagram show a displays of an automotive oscilloscope used for car electronic system diagnosis. Which of the following is the wavelength? So what is wavelength? Wavelength is the distance between two consecutive points which are in phase. Okay, so that means let's say you start with the crest, you will stop at crest. Okay, you start with trough, you stop at trough. This is called wavelength. Or from this point to the next one, the consecutive. So among all these diagram, W, Y is confirmed not correct already. X is too short, notice not. Now, if I were to start here, I end here. So obviously the answer will be which one? Z lah. So the answer is D. 14. Diagram show wavefront propagate from sea to the beach, and the bay is calmer than the cape. The following physical quantity does not change when the wave undergo diffractions, except, so the one, the change one, so which quantity changes? Okay, so basically, the idea of diffraction or reflection, after the phenomenon, they will have a similar idea. That means frequency no change, speed no change, wavelength no change. They only change in what? Direction of propagation. That means they will bend. So that's why A, B, and C is not the answer also. 15. The result of a Young double slit experiment were carried out as shown in diagram A and diagram B. And the distance between the two sources A and the distance between the source and the screen D are constant. Diagram A shows the fringes of blue light with wavelength 4.2 times 10 power negative 7 meter, while diagram B shows the fringes of light formed by light P with lambda P. So what is the wavelength of light P? Okay, so for this idea, of course, it's some sort like tell you the answer, right? Because there is errata in these questions. So actually, you no need to calculate. You also know the answer is supposed to be B. But then, of course, we want to know how to solve these questions. Okay. So, of course, under interference of wave, the general formula that we use is what? Lambda equals to AX over D. And given you these two questions, they already tell you some value which are constant. What are constant? A and D. Right, that means they don't change the distance between the light source with the screen and also the distance between the two slit lah. Right, so that's why A over D is actually a constant. So we move the X, so we will have what? Lambda over X. Yeah, then they are basically constant. So whenever you know that those relationship is constant, then we can actually apply this idea, which is what? You will have lambda, because they are using P and Q. So lambda P over XP must be equals to lambda Q over XQ. So you do given a wavelength for Q. Okay, basically. Okay. I denote itself as Q. This one is Q, lambda Q. Or you can just put 1 or 2 also, doesn't matter. But now teacher assume that the blue light is Q. Okay, P is what you want to find. Can? So this is unknown. You have this. Do you have XP and XQ respectively? they didn't give you the answer directly. This is a sum of x. So we check how many x. X is generally the distance between two consecutive fringes. So for this x cube, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5x cube is 1.8. So you have to find a side lah. So what is x cube? 1.8 divided by 5, you got 0.36 cm, cm. Then we also find this one, 1, 2, 3. So this is 3 xp. Okay, so what is xp? Divide by 3, 1.45. So you get 0.483 cm also. Now, because your wavelength is in meter, but then your x is in cm, so you still need to do one changes before you're able to sub into the equation, whereby you have to change the centi to its value. Centi in prefix is actually 10 power -2, so it become meter already. Notice, then this one also same, 0.48 times 3, 483 times 10 power -2 meter. Now we can sub in already. So I want to find lambda p, then it's equals to what? Lambda q 4.2 times 10 power of -7 over x q, which is 0.36 times 10 power -2, then multiply with what? Because again, like just now, yeah, if I want to eliminate xp, I multiply both sides with xp, clear? So your xp is 0.483 times 10 power -2. So again, whenever you want to divide something that they have this time something one, or you bracket it, make it a habit, bracket it. Yeah, so you press your calculator, you're supposed to get what? 5.64 times 10 power of -7. So this is how we get the answer lah. Okay, next questions, number 16. Diagram shows an image produced from application of electromagnetic wave in radiotherapy for brain cancer. What are the characteristics of the electromagnetic wave? Okay, so for this wave that used in the idea of brain cancer, right, radiotherapy, they want to kill cancerous cell. If they want to kill cancerous cell, they have to be high frequency, or hence they actually have this high energy to able to kill the cancerous cell. So basically this is referred to what wave? They are referred to gamma ray. So they indeed have very high frequency. If the frequency is higher, the relationship between frequency and wavelength is inversely proportional based on the equation of this speed equals to v, speed equals to f lambda. Okay, yeah, where speed c is the speed of light lah, because all the EM wave have the same speed. That means this is constant, constant. Okay, hence you have f equals to c over lambda, and f is inversely proportional to wavelength. So when you have high frequency, then you should have what? Short wavelength. Or okay, then we move on to the next questions. The diagram shows a glass filled with olive oil with a height of 9 cm, which has a refractive index of 1.47. What is the apparent depth seen by the observer? Okay, so under the topic for refraction of light, you have the formula for refractive index. Refractive index, symbol is what? N. Okay, you have three basic formula lah. You can have psi I over psi R. You can also have the speed of light in medium, or speed of light, speed of light in a vacuum, or speed of light in medium, and one more is real depth over apparent depth. Okay, this is a real depth, capital H, then small h is apparent height or depth. So basically they give you H and then they also give you M. So can you find this apparent depth? Yes, now you rearrange H equals to capital H over N. Okay, then basically you can just use 9 divided by 1.47 and then you get the answer. And the answer is 6.12 cm. Again, if you base on concept, I always tell students, if you understand what is the questions and not just memorizing, sometimes if you're not good in math or you confuse a bit with the equation, all this, you see, real depth and apparent depth. Apparent depth is always more shallower. That means they are shorter. So you're supposed to have the mindset that the answer should be less than 9 cm. So if you're going to tembak or choose the answer, you won't choose C and D. So your choice of answer is like towards the correct one is there. You get the idea? Yeah. So always have this understanding. 18. Diagram show a light passing through a glass block. What is the refractive index of glass block, right? So you have this formula. This is actually under total internal refraction already. Notice or not, the ray actually refract at the angle of refraction of 90. That means this is where you actually get this critical angle. This is a incident angle, but at the same time, they actually name it as critical angle. So under this topic, you have a formula for refractive index 1, n equals to 1 over sine C. So you are basically finding this n, right? Okay, now, can you all tell teacher what is the angle for this C? Is this 42? No, right? C is actually 90 minus 42, you get 48. So sine 48. So when you press calculator, you get 1.345 and you round off is supposedly the answer is D. Next question, 19. The following diagram show path of light ray through a concave lens. Which refraction path is correct? So teacher will say when you relating to the ray diagram, whether for mirror or lens, you must always be very clear when does the ray converge or divert and what is the phenomenon they undergo. So of course, lenses, they will undergo refraction. So for concave lens, right, the ray will converge or diverge. They will actually diverge. Diverge means when the ray go on, they will away. Converge means they will focus. So the first one, yes, they are diverging, correct. And this is the correct rules. The ray that parallel, they will actually, after pass the lens, right, they will diverge and they will use this focus point as reference point. Then any ray that cut through optical center, they will just go straight without bending, also correct. Number 3 is some sort like focus already, notice or not? So it's not the correct idea. Okay, and there's no such rules also. It's supposed to parallel, then cut through F. It is for convex lens. Okay, then number 4, any ray that going to cut F on the other side, upon touching the lens, right, they will come out parallel. So the option will be 1, 2, and 4. And answer is D lah. 20. The diagram below shows the formation of an image by a small size lens in a closed circuit camera CCTV. Which statement is correct? Which statement is correct? So the focal length of a CCTV cannot be 0. So for this 20 is something new. Yeah, so it's about the small lens application, right? So of course, any lens, right, they will surely have focal length, right? So that's why the first one seems to be the correct answer already. Okay, but we see other option as well. B, the form of the image is virtual, inverted, and diminish. Because they can form on the screen, this is considered they all have, if you project, right, the image, they actually can form the screen. So the image cannot be virtual one. It should be real image. So wrong. The maximum distance between the sensor and the center of the lens has to be same as the focal length, not necessary. And the overall thickness of CCTV casing is not limited but to the focal length of the CCTV lens. No, they are affected. Okay, yeah. So that's why the answer is A lah. 21. Okay, 21 is from 5 forces and motions regarding the idea of this triangle of forces. So diagram show the resultant force R from the combination of two forces acting on an object. Which of the following phenomenon represent the diagram of vector above? So if you look at this diagram, F1, F2 is basically the given force lah. Okay, so obviously this F2 is referred to downward force, which is weight. Understand? Okay, so you have this. This one, is there any weight? No, ma. This one also have weight. Similarly, okay, you have, they are pointing you T and E. Okay, there is actually more than one force. Okay, for this one. But then basically we don't involve weight for C and B basically. So then next, this F2 is sorry, F1 is the pushing force. Notice or not, he push one. But then this one pull, so it's going up. So is the arrow already wrong. Yeah, so obviously the resultant force for this R is referred for A. Hey, I just show you one idea, like for B, right? How do you draw the triangle of forces? So giving you have F1, right? You have F2. So basically, this ship also will encounter water resistance, which is on the other side. So if you want to complete the triangle, right, you can bring this over here. Then you see you have this triangle, or you can have this triangle. So this is how we form the triangle of forces lah. Let's say they ask you, because in 1.3 in they want you to do that. 22. An object is in an equilibrium forces when what? Of course, in the state of stationary. So for your understanding, when the object is in the equilibrium state, right, which means they are acted by zero net force, or resultant force is zero lah. So they have two conditions, stationary or move at constant velocity. And then you see net force is zero. So of course the option is all include. So the answer is D. 23. Diagram A and diagram B shows the result of experiment of two springs of different original length. So these two springs initially they already have different original length. Okay, so what conclusion can be drawn based on the diagram? So extension of spring increases as the spring constant decreases. So what is actually spring constant? Spring constant is referred to the stiffness of spring, and based on this graph weight versus extension, right, you can find the spring constant K. So K is actually a force per unit extension, or in this context is the weight lah. So you can calculate out one. Okay, example for P, what is your spring constant? Your spring constant is 10 divided by 6. Okay, then you get 1.67 Newton per cm, 1.67 Newton per cm. Then for this another spring Q, the K will be what? 10 divided by 12. Then you get 0.83 Newton per cm. So of course, you see which spring extend more. So from 13 to 25, your extension is 12. This one, your extension is 6. All right, with same load. So actually, this is the correct answer already. Now, expansion of spring increase, spring constant increase cannot. Extension of spring increase as the applied force decrease, but the applied force is same. So this one is also wrong. Extension of spring increase as the elastic potential of the energy of the spring decreases. No, it's by right increase as well when you try to wait this one. So based on the conclusion for this one, yeah, they are A, because this one is you extend more, you store more energy. 24, which of the following is factor affecting the pressure in liquid? Okay, so this is under liquid pressure topic. So as you know, you have this formula. Liquid pressure is what? Liquid pressure is H rho G, where H is referred to the depth. Okay, and then this is density, and G is the gravitational field strength. So of course the answer is C, and not A, B, and D. Now always go through all the option also. Okay, sometimes maybe the term used is a more accurate or better answer. Yeah. So don't like you think is this one, then it's this one. You also need to confirm the other option is wrong. 25. The diagram shows an instrument for measuring the pressure of gas trapped in a container. What is the name of the measuring instrument? So it look like a U-tube thing, right? Okay, so this instrument is also called manometer. It's called manometer. 26. Diagram shows a hydraulic brake used by a car. If the force exerted on the car tire is 150 Newton, calculate force M. Okay, so for your understanding, this hydraulic brake is actually come from Pascal principle. And for Pascal principle, we have this relationship. Pressure is same. Okay, the pressure transmitted in the enclosed fluid is transmitted uniformly. So therefore, you have F1 over A1 equals to F2 over A2. So I assume M everything is 1. Okay, then 2 is for this bigger piston one. So this one will be A2 lah. This is A1 or F1. And then is that giving you the F2? Yes. So that's why same thing. I want to find F1. Then you have 150 divided by 100 times with 5. So again, press calculator. You get 7.5 Newton. And for your understanding, also I tell students, if the surface area is smaller, the force is smaller. Bigger area, bigger force. So this is how the idea of hydraulic work lah. Yeah, you use a small force, but you can cause a bigger load to move on. That one is for hydraulic jack. Like this one, you have cause a bigger force to stop the tire. 27. Diagram show 3 blocks of different size and position when immersed in water. So which statement is correct? Okay, so basically P and Q, there will be near the surface, but R is deeper. R is deeper, but P and Q have different size. Yeah, so the volume display is also different. Okay, so and since R is deeper and they have bigger volume, right? Okay, actually this R is subjected to a bigger buoyant force. Okay, so we see the option now. So R have the greater buoyant force, correct. They have the same, no. Block R have a smaller, then cannot. Key have greater, also cannot. So the option is A. 22. Diagram shows a girl using an umbrella on a rainy day. The umbrella lifted due to the strong wind, and this situation is caused by what reason? So this is under Bernoulli principle. Okay, so why it's lifted is because the speed of air on top of the umbrella and beneath it is different. So when the strong wind, okay, basically the upper part of the umbrella, the speed is high, causing a low pressure. But beneath the umbrella, the speed of airflow is lower, causing the pressure is high. So the difference in the pressure causing a lifting force. So that's why now we see which statement is correct. The air pressure at the upper part is greater, wrong. It's supposed to be smaller. The air velocity of the lower part higher than the upper part. No, lower part, the velocity is smaller also. The lower part air velocity is higher. No, produce high pressure. The difference in pressure causing an upthrust. Also, yes, this is the correct idea, like I mentioned just now, the difference in pressure causing a lifting force. Okay, now we are under electricity topic. Work done to move 1 coulomb charge between 2 points is the meaning of what? Is the meaning of potential difference. So that's why the answer is C. Now, if it is a electromotive force, then the idea will be different. It will be for a complete circuit. Work done to move 1 coulomb of charge for a complete circuit. Okay, now we move on to the next questions. Question 30. Diagram show an electric circuit consists of a dry cell, a voltmeter, and a resistor R. And the dry cell has internal resistance, small r. What will happen to the voltmeter reading and the internal resistance when R, capital R, the resistance of the circuit, the load increase? So when the rheostat, they actually cause the resistance increase. What is the problem is they will cause the current flow to be what? Reduced, because a resistance is inversely proportional to current. Okay, so because of this idea, you will actually do less work. Get the idea? When you do less work, your electromotive force, your voltmeter reading that across the battery lah. That means you don't do much work so they will still have high voltage. So that's why the voltmeter reading is supposed to be increased one. The voltmeter increase, but internal resistance of the dry cell is basically unchanged one. They are fixed. They are constant. Okay, so that's why we will check the options. Yes, voltmeter reading increase, no change wrong, but then all the internal resistance is unchanged. So that's why the answer is B lah. 31. Diagram show the Fleming left-hand rule. What is represented by the thumb? So we always have the short form F, B, I, where F refer to force, B is the symbol for magnetic field, I is current. So thumb is actually force. So it's kind of easy lah for 31. 32. Diagram show a bar magnet move towards a solenoid. Which of these action will increase the deflection of the galvanometer pointer? So they are referred to Faraday's law idea already, right? So the more the cutting of the magnetic flux, the higher the current is being induced, right? So how can you make the current to be induced more? Okay, you increase number of magnet, correct? Because when you increase magnet, that means you increase the strength of magnet also. So more magnetic field is being cut. Then increase the speed, yes, also because you have more cutting Okay. Then reverse the polarity. Reverse polarity, that means you change this one becomes south, this one become north. Actually no changes one because the magnetic field still constant. So this one cannot. Increase the number of turn of coil. Yeah, like you have more number now. So you more cutting again one more time. So therefore, the option is 1, 2, and 4. Okay, 33. Which of the following is the most suitable for transmission of electricity by a national grid network system? Okay, so when after the current is being generated in the power plant, right? So basically, they will go through a process through this transmission line and then reach your house. Okay, so during these transmissions, basically, we will actually use transformer. So the function of transformer is to step up or step down the voltage. So why we need to step up the voltage? Also, basically, we will step up the voltage, okay? Okay, the reason is because during transmission, right, they will encounter power loss. Also, power loss equals to I square R. So if teacher want to reduce the power loss, right, I can actually reduce the resistance. So in the context of reduce this resistance, we can use thicker cable, use a better material like copper, right? And then another context, I actually can reduce the current flow when during the transmission. So if you want to have a less current, right? So we back to the power that generated in the power plant VI. So of course, the power that generated is constant. Get it? Then you want to have less current. So what happened to your voltage? Your voltage has to be step up a lot. Okay, since I told you we need to use transformer, so for your understanding, transformer only can apply alternating current. So we will actually have this, we are not using direct current. Then like I mentioned, you need to have what? Small current. So it should be low. Then the voltage should be what? Very, very high. So of course, the answer will be D lah. 34. What is the maximum speed of electrons in a vacuum tube that have a potential difference of 8,000 volt across it? Okay, so this is under topic electron, under electronic. Okay, so why the electron can move if you all know the idea, the vacuum tube, there is a filament, and then you have the two terminal, you have this cathode and anode. Okay, so when thermal emission produce electrons, right? You want the electron to move, then they become cathode ray, fast moving beam of electrons. So you need to apply a high voltage. EHT we call them. So this this is extra high tension power. They can up to 4 kilovolt one. Okay, so due to this electrical potential energy, right, they cause the electron to move, then become kinetic energy. Also, electrical potential energy have become kinetic energy. So electrical potential energy, the formula is electron times voltage. Then the kinetic energy is half mv squared. So because the v is different slightly, I make my small v curvy a bit. So hence I will have v equals to what? Square root of 2 ev over m. So we are using this formula lah. So you just sub accordingly, 2 times the charge for 1 electron. Then the voltage, which is 8,000. And then the mass is 9 times 10 power of negative 31. Bracket it every time you put in the calculator. Yeah, so at the end, what do you all get? When you press calculator, you're supposed to get A as the answer. Well, 5.33 times 10 power 7. Next, 35. Diagram show a circuit consists of a diode and a bulb connected to a dry cells. When the switch is on, the bulb does not light up. What needs to be done to light up the bulb? So we need to see the connection of this diode. Diode consists of 2 types of semiconductor, P-type and N-type. So the way how you connect the diode will affect whether the bulb light up or not lah. If the connection is reverse bias, that's why it's not light up. So you see P-type connect to negative, N-type to positive. That's why they are in the reverse bias. We say reverse bias. So that's why not light up. So if you want it to light up, there is 2 ways. Either I change this direction of the diode. So it becomes this one N and negative, P is positive. Or if I don't change it, I still remain this one, then I change my battery terminal, positive, negative, negative. It's still positive to P and to N, negative. So this is the way. So we see the option, decrease the power of bulb, no. Increase the number of dry cell, no. Reverse the connection. Then connect a capacitor, also not the option. So the answer is C, reverse the connection of diode. 36. Diagram show an incomplete circuit for a fire alarm system. And then the table shows some suggestion of electronic component connection to enable the fire alarm system to function. Which of the following answer is correct? Which of the following is correct? Okay, so which one is the acceptable one now? Now, for the idea of this thermistor, right? This is called thermistor. Thermistor. Okay, they are sensitive to heat. So they have 2 conditions, or hot or cold or room temperature. Cold or room temperature is same. So when they are hot, right, their resistance is low one. When it's cold, resistance is high in the condition. Okay, so teacher will say if you want the transistor circuit to work under automatic switch, of course, a general idea you should know this is called base circuit. This is a collector circuit. Then you have to cause the base everything to be high. Their base voltage is high, the resistance across it should be high first, then causing the voltage should be high, then the current base can be flow, okay? Then only it causes the collector current to flow. So, and the relationship between top and bottom is called potential divider. So general idea is top is high, bottom is low, or vice versa. Top is low, bottom is high. So you want it to be bias system. So that means you use it when during hot. So if hot, you see, if your thermistor is on top, right, what happened? The resistance is low. So what happened? The resistance here will be high. So this is what I want. So they confirm the place at PQ1, no problem. Two confirm cannot. Okay, then RS will be normal resistor, so it's also correct. Now, in terms of the type of transistor that you use, should you use this is arrowhead down, positive to negative, NPN or vice versa, okay, or PNP. So it's all about the connection of the battery as well. As you know, current waves flow positive to negative. So that's why the leg of this they should connect to P lah. Then they go to negative. So similarly, this is M, so they should connect to negative terminal. So that's why 2 also can be used, 1 and 3. And the answer is B lah. 37. The following equation represent the decay of lead nucleus. What is represented by X and Y? Okay. Now generally X you have this nuclear notation 0, -1. So it's actually referred to E where it is also called alpha particle. Okay, alpha particle. But why they do not have any number or the nuclear number? So it's basically referred to gamma ray. Okay, so the answer is B lah. 38. Diagram show a nuclear reactions. What is this reaction refer to? So you bombard a neutron to a uranium, and then you causing a splitting. So the splitting of a heavy nucleus to a lighter nuclide is called nuclear fission. Fission is fusion that is combined. 39. What is threshold frequency? Now, generally, threshold frequency, this term is under the concept of photoelectric effect. So you want the photon to cause the electron to emitted out from the surface. Okay, basically the frequency of this light energy of photon, right, is supposed to higher than the threshold frequency of the matter, where this threshold frequency is referred to the minimum frequency for photoelectrons, the effect to photoelectric effect to occurs, right? So of course it should be minimum frequency. So you see here, minimum, maximum, sudah wrong one. Okay, then we see the last part also of the incident radiation of an electron to escape the matter space, or the minimum frequency of incident radiation for a photon to escape. So you want electron to escape or photon to escape is electron. So the answer is A. Photon is the one that hit. Simple idea, this matter. So I shine light. So they are photon. Then when they hit the electron will come out. Last questions. When a graph of photoelectron kinetic energy against frequency of incident radiation is plotted, the threshold frequency is given by what part? So for understanding, we can actually plot the graph of Kmax versus frequency. And the graph that you obtain, right, normally look like this one. So the x-intercept itself is referred to threshold frequency F0, and then gradient is actually the Planck constant, H. Yeah. So this is some basic regarding this graph. So that's why threshold frequency, the answer is x-intercept lah. Okay, so therefore we actually complete for this Terengganu paper 1. So again, I will see you for other state paper. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.